Hi, how are y'all doing? So here's the whole day. I got one winner, two winners, three winners, and then one loser, which I forgot to mark the arrows on all of these, but I'll just put them in right now. Alright, so pretty good day. So we have the overnight highs here, overnight lows here. Now, I saw these lows and I thought they were significant enough to where I could put in this range inside the overnight range. And so I basically was trying to play this range here. And yeah, so it came in around here. So this was around 8, like 8:15 or something, 8:20. And after we got these two legs down, we found support at this level here where we made this low here and bounced early. We got a couple legs up. And I guess I'll talk about this trade right here. I marked it. I didn't take it. But basically, what you have is uptrend break, first time higher, second time higher. Now, the only problem is you have this leg up, and so this is the second leg up. So what I'm thinking is, okay, the uptrend has a break and a new high. The uptrend already played out, and it's like it doesn't mean you can't take a long if you get a perfect two-legged move back, because that's not just a second entry. That's like two clear legs back. But it did close below the EMA, which isn't why I didn't want to take it. Because it's fine if it closing below the EMA itself. That's not the reason it's bad. It's because it's the fact that the uptrend played out and it closed below the EMA. I mean, that just tells me it could reverse. But then you did get this bar right here, which is, it's closing back above. It is pretty high up, but you could enter with a limit order, but then it doesn't even trigger. And then you get this next bar, so it's just more sideways. It's a bearish bar. It closes near its low. So I was like, I just couldn't get myself to take this. But anyway, we make this new high up here. We make this triple top, from these highs over here. So we finally get this entry, and I saw that a lot of y'all took it. A few of y'all. The only difference is y'all went for 1 to 2. The people, well, not y'all, but the people that I saw post it. I only went for 1 to 1 because it seemed a little bit sketchy. Let me explain. So we do have a couple legs up. You can also look at it like you can clearly tell that this is one leg up, which is why I ended up drawing that and then drawing that, because it's a little bit hard to see, but you get this range formed, and then after this range is formed, you can kind of see it makes two. It's kind of hard to see, but I see this as a leg up, two-legged correction, and then second leg up happened in this one move, basically. Which why was I talking about? Anyway. So I was taking this as the uptrend has played out. So you have those two legs up there, but even if you want to count this as its brand new trend, it still has a break and a new high. It's off the overnight highs. Your entry closes out of the short-term trend line. The short-term trend line itself actually, it closes out clearly. It actually has a break and a new high, which it doesn't need a break and a new high for the short-term move to the new high, but it does. But the important thing is that we have a nice closeout of it, and we're off the triple top, off the overnight highs. When you come off one side of a range, you are expected to reach the other side. It's a valid entry. And also with how big it was, and 16 ticks isn't that big for me, but the bars are big. Like a lot of times, of course, the points can be smaller, but just with how big it looks, relative to the size of a lot of other bars, I felt like it'd be best to limit into 1 to 1. So that's what I was thinking there. But we get a couple legs down, which of course ends up forming two big picture legs down, but we get a couple legs down, and we bounce early, which that isn't a big deal, but that is the first sign of a bullish imbalance. So we bounced early. It's not a confirmed bullish imbalance, but we do rush back above the EMA. Now we get another attempt down. Then, as you can see, that these two legs here are made up of smaller legs, so you do get this little downtrend break, new low, and then it plays out at that same level. We bounce, we make this clear double bottom. That's now that it's holding twice, it's a support level. There is a bullish imbalance here now. It doesn't mean you can't go short if it does rush back below and gives you an entry with some momentum, but it does mean there are less short options available when you do get back up to these highs. And so basically what happens is we break out, we tried to fade once, twice, and then we fail. So I entered along with the failure of fading. So we had a bullish imbalance. We already made these higher lows inside of the overnight range, and then we did the same thing here inside of the smaller range. We made this double bottom higher than the lows, just like we made the double bottom there higher than these lows. So that's a clear sign of a bullish imbalance. We're trending higher, and then price tries to fade the range once, tries to fade it twice, and then it fails, rushes back above the EMA, and then I entered on the higher low. I mean, I wasn't taking this just as higher low, like, oh look, higher low, buy as a higher low. Like, the context is amazing. It's literally a failure. I mean, it's literally a fade failure. Like, it's clearly trying to fade, and then it's just with a bullish imbalance, and then it's trying to fade twice. Price will attempt twice before failing. That's generally the rule for almost anything. First attempt to fade, second attempt to fade, failure, entered on the higher low. Looks perfect to me. So yeah, that's one thing. You got to learn the context, especially if you want to go for bigger moves. You got to learn the context, not just the setup. It's like you could say, oh, you took a higher low, but that's not why I'm taking it. I'm not taking it because it's a higher low. The higher low just happens to be the way that I'm able to enter, because obviously you need a swing, you would need a push in your direction. I'm not taking that as a higher low, is my point. I'm taking it based on the context, and that just happens to be the entry I got. So anyways, we push higher, we move back to the EMA. It does break through, but it immediately pushes back above. It basically holds, and then it holds the second time there. And then we do push lower again. That doesn't last long. We continually make higher lows and higher highs, and so that does mean that we're probably going to break out of this range. We already broke out. Failed at fading, and then are holding above the EMA. That's sign we're going to go into an uptrend, which we do. And so you can get these lows here, and then those highs there, and then it's pretty clear. Price bounces here, or price bounces here, which is what ends up forming this trend line. And then first attempt to reach the trend line, second attempt, it's held up by the EMA, failure. So it's kind of hard to see because it's a little bit smaller, but first attempt, break, second attempt, failure. Now, I don't think that there's really a good long there, because I would still want to see it try to get to the key entry point. Really, it's just an unconfirmed channel. It has 2 off the lows, 1 off the highs. Unconfirmed channel, higher low, very choppy. I would just avoid it. I would want to see one more test. But anyway, we do go into this uptrend. Then we get these 2 legs down. So uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher. And this is kind of like one of those 2-legged breaks that I've been talking about. So it's like these whole 2 legs are part of the break, and the break isn't over until the 2 legs are done. I'm not saying that's what's happening there, but we do have this downtrend in play here. So really it's just uptrend, break, and then we were able to push higher without really any setup here. And we reach the highs of this channel. And when you reach the highs of the channel, you are expected to reach the other side, kind of like in a range. It's similar to the range rules. When you're off the highs, you're expected to reach the lows unless prices play out with a downtrend. Like if this downtrend got a break and a new low, then you'd be able to buy before reaching the lows again. Just like in a range. When you come up, like pretend this is a range for a second. If you come off the highs of a range, you're expected to reach the lows, and the only way that you can buy before reaching the lows is if the downtrend plays out early and then starts moving back in your direction. Then you can look for buys. And it's the same thing here. It is expected to reach the other side if it comes off one side. And so we reach the highs, we have a break, this uptrend makes a new high, we're kind of just, we keep trending higher at the highs, we get a little overshoot here, and then this more convincing overshoot here, and then we go into this range. I have these highs, these lows, they're pretty clear to see. I don't see any good entries. I definitely don't want to take any buys right here, just because, like I said, we are off the highs, we're expected to reach the lows. If I take a long, it could just trap lower and then make a 2-legged move down. So that's what I'd be afraid of. So, and about this short, I was kind of thinking about this short, because one thing that I have been trying to get better at is it sounds kind of strange saying it, but it's literally counter trend trading. And it's because there are often times where you can take a counter trend trade if the context is perfect. I don't do it myself generally, but it's like this short right here. It's like it's right after this overshoot. You know, when you get an overshoot, you're expected to break. I mean, that's what happens all the time, and that's what happened again here. You got an overshoot, it got a break right after pretty fast. So, you know, there could be opportunities to look for counter. I'm not even gonna get into it that much, but clearly the setup here looks good. It's just the context is really bad, because the truth is you don't want to be shorting in a trend like that. In an uptrend like that, I would avoid shorting. But the setup alone does look good for that short. You got two clear legs up, uptrend, break, new high. The short-term uptrend played out. We are off the highs of this trend, and so we are expected to reach lows. It's a break out of this range. You know, I still don't think I'd be willing to take trades like this, but, you know, I'm just pointing out what I see as happening there. Not necessarily that I think it's a good trade, because it is very counter trend, but anyway, I'm just thinking out loud. So then we come to here. This is the loss. Now I hope y'all see why I got tricked here. I don't want y'all to think I'm too dumb for taking this, but you know, here's what I'm thinking here. So the uptrend has a break. We are expecting a new high, and we have two legs down. Downtrend break, new low as well. Now, I think I know why I lost. Now, when I took this long, I was kind of thinking this as one of those two-legged breaks, but the first leg actually didn't break. In order for it to be the two-legged break, it actually has to break on the first leg, but it didn't break on the first leg. It just bounced and confirmed. It basically confirmed it right there, because you got the third bounce there, and then you have the overshoots. You could argue that all you'd have to do is move it up, but I mean, it does hold twice there, so I don't think that would be a good thing to do. So basically, I was entering on the uptrend break first attempt higher. So for some reason in my mind, I was thinking of it as the second attempt to make the new high because of the two legs back. I don't know how I tricked myself that much, some mental gymnastics, but really it was just uptrend break, and then I entered on the first attempt higher. That's really nothing to, you know, that's not like a good trade or anything. And then also right after these overshoots immediately leading to the break, it's like you can't just expect prices to immediately move up to a new high when you get a break, and then that's basically what I did. And, you know, I should have tried to enter on the second attempt to make a new high. And then if say I did enter here, which obviously there's no entry there, but if I did enter on the second attempt at a new high, so just to show example, uptrend break, first attempt higher where I entered, and then second attempt right there, I would have made 1 to 2. I would have gotten out with 1 to 2 with a stop entry, and then it would have been, you know, I would have gotten out. And that's my point. You enter on the second attempt, you'll get bigger moves. I entered on the first attempt to a new high. Now it's after a second entry, you know, first entry, second entry on a big picture, but there's always a couple ways to look at it. You can also look at this downtrend and say downtrend break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower, which is how prices play out. And so now that the downtrend has a break and two legs to a new low, the uptrend has a break, and now you're actually entering on the second attempt to make a new high. So it's after the two-legged move down, you're entering on the second attempt higher. It's the second for both things. That's great, then it works. Obviously, it doesn't work by a lot, but my point is, it's not like you got trapped out like I did there because of the first attempt. But yeah. So anyway, then we go into this downtrend here. I don't see any shorts in it. You don't even reach the EMA. You just go into this downtrend, then you get a break, new low. Now I did get this short right here, making the new low. Now when I took it, I realized, yeah, we already had a new low, but I was thinking we could get another leg to a new low. The main reason I took this is, and also it relates to this trade actually. So part of the reason that I feel like I lost this trade, and part of the reason I feel like this trade right here, right after, didn't go very far, is because I should have maybe been looking for a fade. Because even though it did go pretty far out, it did break the overnight high, and most breakouts will fail, and then it did what they do. It broke out, failed, retested, and then faded. And so I was really thinking, okay, we are trying to fade. prices are clearly attempting to fade. And then we have downtrend break. You can look at it as downtrend break, first leg to a new low, second leg to a new low. But it is kind of hard to see because it's congestive. But basically, I see that we have some bearish momentum, clearly attempting to fade. EMA is pointed straight down. It's holding. It's going down with the prices. And we're in this range. We get a breakout pullback, and then it's a first entry short, second entry short. Clear two legs up. They're nice and separated. It's not like a tick lower. They're their own two legs. They're perfectly measured. That just looks like a great trade to me. And then we had enough room down to the overnight highs here. So, to me it looked great. I mean, I'll go over it one more time. We're expecting to fade. I mean, clearly prices are attempting to fade. There's people trying to fade this range down because of the breakout. And then when you get a second, it's like when you're actively trying to fade, and then you get a second entry short, breakout pullback with that momentum down. It's like it doesn't get much better than that. So to me, that looks amazing. We make that new low. Now we're off the overnight high here. I was really looking for something to buy here, and I ended up not pulling the trigger on anything. We ended up just kind of, we went into this uptrend here, and I see that reversal pattern, that first entry short, so first entry short, second entry short, failure, but it's all within the same trend. I don't look at that and say, oh, that's a great reversal pattern, because it's just one leg up. If you can draw it in the same trend, then it's just one leg up. But then here we actually get a break, so now it's like uptrend break, first attempt higher, then that's the second attempt higher. That's obviously entering directly in the high of the move, which you don't want to do on a reversal pattern like that. But really, I think the best entry in this area is actually right here. Maybe just drop a limit order after it triggers there, because it's the first entry that actually is rushed above the EMA. You end up holding when you close back above there, and then it has an uptrend break expecting a new high. So that's why I think that's the best entry. I still don't necessarily think it's good, because I would want to enter on the second attempt higher, which you're kind of entering too high at that point when you are entering on the second attempt higher. But so how much longer we got? There we go. So all that's left is this. So let's see. We got this downtrend. You can see that little break and new low, but it looks like it's just part of the same move, to be honest. So I'm going to try to redraw it in a way that includes it. So that's really how I'd look at it. It fits downtrend, break, new low, and then we get congestive. And then, of course, I only drew this downtrend after this right there formed, and then it reacted off of it. But it could just be this, downtrend, break, new low. But it just looks like part of the same move right there. I mean, it's not a crazy significant break, and then it's very steep, and it goes along with the trend pretty well. So I just figured it's probably like that, and then that even fits. I mean, it looks pretty good. That's a much more significant break, but let's see, where's my drawing tools? All right, and then clearly we're getting this breakout pullback, which I don't think is good because we have a very bearish bias, and then it's rushing below the EMA. It's just not a good reverse. It's not a good reverse pattern, which is basically what that is. I mean, because how some would see it is, two legs down, and then a rush above the EMA, first entry long, second entry long. But that's basically a reversal pattern. It just doesn't set up good. And then you can also just draw it all in this one downtrend. Now, obviously, when you do close back above there, you could try to maybe enter with a limit order, but I can't really say. I'm kind of just now seeing it. I'm not sure if it's great or not, but uptrend break, expecting a new high, but it's just the first attempt higher. So I honestly, I don't think that there's anything super good here. So anyway, I guess that's it for the video. Yeah, and I guess I'll see y'all next time. I was gonna say something about the site. Oh yeah, so on the site, there's this new feature where you can add photos into comments, which is nice, because it's like if you want to address somebody's chart and relate it to your own, You don't have to make your own post now and then at them. You can just comment on their post and post the photo and talk about it like that. So it's pretty nice. And what else is new? There is this new feature that I didn't add myself. It's this feature where if I like someone's post, it gives a heart in my profile pictures. Kind of like how on YouTube, you know how creators can heart comments, and then it's basically like a like that everyone knows the creator liked that person's comment. So it has that feature on the website now, which I don't really like because he's like, I didn't add it. They added it into, so Uscreen is the company that I use to make the website, and so they added some features to the site, which basically goes on to everyone who has a website with Uscreen. And so obviously my site would get these new features, and I'm not even adding them myself. And I was trying to see if I could get rid of it, and they said that I'd have to hire some website developer, on my own, and they can't remove it. They said they can try to. There's not much they can do, really, is my point. But I want to be able to interact with the community and like people's posts and stuff without the website telling everyone that I like their posts, so that way I can kind of be anonymous while I'm trading. Obviously when I type to people, I'm not trying to be anonymous. Obviously, that doesn't make any sense. But it's like if I just want to casually like someone's post, I don't want it to say Penguin Trades hearted your post, which it's not a big deal. I don't really mind that it does that, but I'm sure you'll see where I'm coming from. But it's just a privacy thing, I guess. But anyway, I guess that's gonna do it for the video, and yeah, y'all have a good day.